truck warranties just don't have a good reputation. What I've seen happen myself firsthand with our own units, it always ends up that it's these one or two things that are not included, and therefore your warranty is null and void, or it's always your case is the one that doesn't apply.
And what we've just recently done is released what they call an exclusionary coverage plan. It is an exclusionary policy. And then we want to reset the $30,000 aggregate for you. So the number one thing that would get your claim denied is if you didn't get it pre-approved. Each claim is handled by a human being.
People's biggest fears on buying used trucks is their mechanical breakdown.
I mean, kind of like me and my truck. I have a 2007 and I wouldn't trade it for a brand new one. You know, the guys who already drive are the guys that I want to benefit from the industry coming back. Because I feel bad for a lot of these guys, you know. I mean, I talk to people who started a business and shut it in 6 months. Seat, it's not covered, but everything that keeps the truck moving is going to be covered for you.
So, Forrest, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. You know, I'm excited about this. I know the audience is excited about this. I've done a few polls, you know, more leaning towards the truck warranty. But first, I wanted to hear from you a little bit about the company and how in the world did you get into truck warranty?
Sure. Well, traditionally, we started doing the RVs. And as you know, a lot of the same engines in a Class A RV as some of these semis out there. So it was really about our relationship with the repair facilities, when we had built up just a good reputation for taking care of our customers, that it was only natural. Actually, the insurance underwriter approached us and said, you should be doing trucks, you're doing such a good job here, so here we are.
Oh, that's awesome. So at what point how many years in business in the RV before you started dabbling on semi-trucks?
So we had about 8 years in RVs before we turned up the trucks.
Nice. And how long have you been in trucking?
In trucking now about 2 years.
Oh, 2 years. And how is it a different breed? Is it a different types of people?
You know, different customer base, but I think, you know, both of them expect the same results. So it's not too much different, honestly.
Have you done research before you went into the space?
We definitely did some research. You know, we didn't want to, but then again, you know, the best research is by doing. So I think we learned more by doing than we did any kind of research that we could have done.
From the research that you did do, the feedback that comes back, I know I've done it through my audience and through polls, the feedback that comes back is just, you know, truck warranties just don't have a good reputation.
Sure.
Do you know why that is? Or
what? You know, unfortunately, most aftermarket warranties don't have a good reputation. I think I've traditionally said that I'll split the blame 50-50. I'll split it with the customer, but I also want to put some of the onus on the company itself. I think a majority of bad experiences come from overzealous salespeople. You know, they just want to push the product, they overpromise, underdeliver. And then I will say there is some burden on the customer to actually read what the policy says and to get a full understanding before you commit.
As an owner-operator, and I myself, for example, you know, I own trucks. I don't have a Class 1 license. But when I get aftermarket, if I'm buying a used truck and I'm getting a warranty on it, injectors are included, or, you know, the engine or transmission, I expect that if something happens to my engine or transmission, that the warranty company kicks in. What I've seen happen myself firsthand with our own units, and also through the feedback of the audience, is that the warranty companies are giving you a list of 15 or 20 things, and these 18 things are, you know, included, and then this 1 or 2 things that are not included. And somehow it always ends up that it's these 1 or 2 things that are not included, and therefore your warranty is null and void, or it doesn't apply in your case. And it's always your case is the one that doesn't apply.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And really that brings us to kind of like how our policy is structured. What you're describing is what they call a stated coverage plan. So literally it's a list of covered components. If it's not in that list, it's not going to get covered. Mm-hmm. You know? Now what we've been trying to do and what we've just recently done is released what they call an exclusionary coverage plan. So this one, it's more of a deductive exercise. You look at the things that aren't covered, and then you can assume from that anything not listed there is going to be covered for you. This is how we've traditionally done the RV policies, because they have so many different components that you can't possibly list everything for every make and model. Mm-hmm. In the same way, I mean, trucks are very much the same. So what we have now is a new policy that we call executive coverage. It is an exclusionary policy. It covers everything except what's in the exclusions. So you can read through this exclusion list and you'll see, the parts you shouldn't expect to be covered. They're predominantly just going to be your clutch, and I'm not sure why no warranty company covers the clutch yet. I have some ideas why, but unfortunately the clutch would be excluded. And then the way I like to put it is anything you can reach from the seat. So that's all your buttons, switches, knobs, your blinker stalks, your dash cluster, literally anything you can reach from the seat. But other than that, everything else is covered.
So DEF, DPF, the valves, all that, there's coverage for injectors.
Turbo, yes, everything else is covered. Again, if you can reach it from the seat, it's not covered. But everything that keeps the truck moving is going to be covered for you.
So if I'm an owner-operator and I want to inquire or, walk me through the steps of how I would get the warranty through you guys.
Sure.
Is there an inspection? At what point is there an inspection?
Yeah. So we don't do any kind of inspections on the truck. But what we do have is kind of like what you've probably seen in the automotive warranty industry before. We have a break-in period, and that's typically going to be 30 days or 10,000 miles, and then your policy will become active. So you do have a waiting period before the coverage takes effect.
Okay. So my truck that has 350 or 400,000 miles on it, I sign up with you guys, and then the policy kicks in 30 days or 10,000 miles after the sign-up date?
After the sign-up, yes, sir.
Okay. And then it's active.
Yep.
And then inspection-wise, there's no inspection that's done?
Inspection.
It's send over photos, or how does that work?
Now, we'll get a photo of the odometer. Yeah, we just want to verify the mileage, and then you're good to go.
Got it. Okay. And then walk me through, so if I have smoke coming out of my engine, what do I do? Or, am I limited to shops? Am I...
Perfect. Yeah, so the way a claim would happen is you have an issue. It is your responsibility to get to the shop that you want to do the repairs. So we don't tell you where you need to go. As long as the shop is licensed, meaning they have a business license or a tax ID, then you can take it there. You just want to tell them you have a warranty. Actually, you can give them the first page of your policy packet. It has all the numbers they need, everything you need to get the claim going. Be sure they don't start working. The first thing they want to do is diagnose the issue and come up with an estimate and send it to us. And that's really where the claim gets going.
Got it. So estimate 12,000, 14,000, send you over a copy of it, you look over it. What happens if you don't like the estimate?
What happens if you don't like it or we don't like it?
If you don't like it. So my shop sends over an estimate, it's $4,000 more expensive than what the norm is out there.
So there would likely be a conversation about that. Our claims team is going to call the shop, and we do a lot of the communication through the phone because email is just not as reliable for time-sensitive things like this. So there would be a conversation. Maybe it's there too many hours. Like, this doesn't match the book rate. Why is this taking longer than it should? If there's an extenuating circumstance, then we do understand that, and we'll allow for that extra time. So one thing that is important is that each claim is handled by a human being. It's not as though we have some formula or algorithm that says if X doesn't equal Y, it's not getting covered. And there's been instances where you say, well, look, this took 2 more hours because we had to do this to get to it. That's not in the book time. And then we understand that. We'll approve the couple more hours. Now, in the case where you're saying maybe $4,000 on a big claim, and $4,000 wouldn't be a big claim, but the $12,000 claim, it would depend on what components have failed. There may be an inspection required. I will say that anything on the driveline is going to likely require an inspection, just because we're talking about the breakdown of internally lubricated parts. It's not always obvious what happened, so we will get a third-party inspector out there to take a look at it on the following day.
So just to be clear, there is no exclusive shops that you work with, and I have to take my truck over there.
No.
Because I find the warranty companies that have this exclusivity with these 4 or 5 shops, those are the ones that would usually say, hey, it's this 2 or 3 parts that are not under warranty. Well, because they are, the shop that the warranty companies wants to use. But the fact that you guys allow us to, or anybody buying your warranty, to go to whatever shop that they want,
and I will add,
that speaks volume.
Don't let the shop try to adjudicate the claim. I've seen things before where maybe the shop thinks they're doing someone a favor, where they'll leave something off. That's not the way you want to do it. You want to send the full invoice. If if the shop is adjudicating the claim and trying to bill you for something, I'd say the worst that can happen is we're going to deny it. You may as well have a full invoice because we may cover some of those parts through the policy. It's again, don't let the shop adjudicate the claim. Send us what you got.
Now, do you have the warranty for the towing also? Like if there's a major mechanical breakdown and the truck breaks down on the side of the highway?
We do not offer towing at this point. So what we do have is we will reimburse you $500 for a tow,
Okay.
which I know isn't going to cover your whole tow. We are working to get a towing company involved and put into the policy.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can imagine, I mean, that's somewhat difficult with towing. I mean, towing
Tow
is...
bills are...
Well, and just with the experience in the past from towing through the RV company, and then trucking with tow companies that we've used, finding one that has that nationwide reach that is going to do what they say and keep the customers happy is more difficult than you might think.
So here's a question. So people's biggest fears on buying used trucks is their mechanical breakdown. People's biggest fears on buying trucks at the auctions are also because of the mechanical breakdowns. So you're saying that I can just basically go to the auction, purchase a truck, get the warranty from you, and then sleep quiet at night.
30 days later,
30 days,
sleep quiet.
Okay, so 30 days later I can sleep quiet at night. So have you ran into problems where guys bought their truck and then the first week or second week something happens to their truck? Because it's very common.
I have. And to go back to the inspection, and this comes from the RV industry as well, we don't require an inspection. But I would say it would still behoove you to have an inspection. If you're investing this much money into a piece of property like a truck that your livelihood depends on, you should probably get it inspected. The warranty is not a substitute for having the unit inspected and doing your due diligence. Because I have seen instances where there were claim denials on something that had the truck been inspected by the buyer, he likely wouldn't have bought the truck. This could come down to the improper parts, like bad injectors in the truck to begin with. At least you want to get the computer scan on the truck and make sure there's no stored codes and that the systems that the computer can read and the visual inspection passes. Generally worth investing in the inspection to protect your assets.
What should a buyer need to know about warranties that are maybe in the fine print that maybe they should be aware of at the beginning? Is there anything there that you might want to, that's in the fine print, that's not, out in everybody's face, that is not like, you need to be made aware of this when buying warranty?
Typically when I'm talking to someone about the policy, I like to give them a couple of scenarios. Why would my claim get denied? Because that's what everyone wants to know.
Correct.
At the end of the day. So the number one thing that would get your claim denied is if you didn't get it pre-approved. That one's easy. That one's simple to avoid. Send us the invoice when the shop has it and tell them not to complete the work. The second thing, and this is far more common, is that the shop may request parts that haven't failed. And I'm sure people have taken their vehicles to the mechanic and they want to do a lot of things to your truck, to your automobiles. Maybe all of those things haven't failed. A lot of times we'll see an invoice where maybe we got a bad alternator, but we also have a lot of maintenance items on that invoice. Changing belts and hoses, that's not warranty. We're looking for failed components. So specifically parts that haven't failed on the unit. And one of the most common is when we see requests for fuel injectors. So you have one bad fuel injector and then the shop wants to replace them all.
All of them, correct.
And some people will swear that's best practice. You need to get them all, you need a matching set. Well, unfortunately, the warranty company only wants to pay for what has failed on you. We could pay for the one that's failed and the labor for the one that's failed, and you could pay for the others, or you could just get the one replaced and get back on the road. At that point, it is up to you. Sometimes these kinds of scenarios work out in favor. I had a guy recently had a bad rocker arm. We're going to pay for the labor to get in there, replace the rocker, and all the labor to button it back up. So it was in his best interest. Let's get them all done. I think he came out of pocket maybe $800 on a claim that we ended up paying over $10,000.
Wow.
So, if you understand these things going in, you will be satisfied with the policies.
Now, are there limitations on parts or on certain? Like if something breaks down, there's, maximum we give is $25,000 for this, or
Sure.
the maximum claim amount is Maybe you could give us a couple
Yeah,
examples of
so
that.
if we talk about our new policy, the executive policy, the way we've done that, and traditionally what you find is, you know, you have limits for different component groups. So
Correct,
the
yeah.
engine has this and the turbo gets this. So to simplify things, what we've done is this policy runs for the year, it's 30 grand. You get 30 grand towards the truck on the year. Some people might say that doesn't sound that great, but you got to think when you're doing this on these 4-year plans, on these 2-year plans, you might have 25 towards the engine on a 4-year plan, but that's over the whole course of the 4 years. So this one is going to re-up the $30,000 every year that you're with us.
I just want to get into numbers. I hope you're okay with that.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a numbers guy, so
Yeah,
I just
definitely.
really like. So I'm buying a 4-year-old Cascadia. The truck has 600,000 miles on it, and I want to insure it over the next 4 years from 600 to, I'm projecting probably I'll run 100,000 miles a year, not more. I want to insure it up until the 1 million miles. What's that warranty going to cost me? Ballpark.
Sure. That per year, I'd say about $5,600. Or if you were financing it,
Because that doesn't seem that much to me. So 5,600 over the course of 4 years, we're talking about, 23 and change, and then finance that over the course of 4 years, you're looking, with probably $5,000 down, you're probably looking about $400 a month. I mean, plus
you did
minus
it.
450.
Yeah. It's generally less, $495.
So to sleep quiet at night for 4 years, for 4 years of your life, that doesn't seem much. And
Yeah.
so it's for me, it's a no-brainer. So you're telling me that for the next 4 years, my truck is going to be covered.
We could do that. Yeah, and to be honest, that truck's not too old in our eyes,
Oh, it's not too old?
No, I mean, I see a lot of trucks with more miles and definitely older. So,
Wow.
I mean, you're going to get a good rate on a 4-year-old truck, even with the 650,000 miles. The only thing that may prevent you from getting that 4th year of coverage is if you were to go over $1 million through the course of one of those years. So we could, let's say in that 4th year, your 3rd year is just completed. The 4th year you come to us, you have 990,000 on the odometer. You can get another 1 year.
Warranty. Okay, so I can't get warranty on anything over than a million.
Over $1 million or 15 years or older on the truck.
Okay, and then my policy renews every year.
If you want it to. We're not going to automatically renew you.
No, but I'm saying, can I buy a 3-year warranty so I don't have to refinance
we
about that?
can't do a 3-year straight up like that. So we do it on the year-to-year basis. And primarily because we want to be able to get the new mileage, and then we want to reset the $30,000 aggregate for you. While other plans that we have, we could offer you 2 years at a time, but those are kind of the old way of doing things, like you said, where you have all the list of covered components. If it's not there, it's not covered. I'm trying to move away from that type of plan in general. With the RV company, we exclusively sell these exclusionary type policies, and that's, if you read the reviews for our claims and the company as a whole, I mean, I think you see it's overwhelmingly positive, and that's what we're trying to bring to the trucking industry, because as far as I've seen, there's not a plan like that.
Which is great. I think that's why all the hype, and I think that's, definitely caught my eyes because of that.
Good deal.
For sure. Do you work hand in hand with a finance company? So if I'm an owner-operator, I want to get your package, I don't have the $5,000. I have $1,000. I have $1,500. Is there somebody that you work with that you can?
Oh yeah, we could finance it for you.
You can
No
internally.
credit check. Yeah, it's 500 down, and again on the plan that we talked about for your 2016 Cascadia, 500 down, 495 a month for 11 months. That'll get you through the year, and then the rates won't change for you the next time. Yeah.
Well, so in-house, you have your own finance company. Doesn't matter if I have good credit, bad credit, you'll finance it.
Yeah. We won't even check your credit. I mean, it's kind of simple.
That speaks volumes.
Well, if you stop paying, we stop covering the truck, right? I mean, it's that simple. Just make the payments and you're covered.
Anything else people need to know about your coverage or about your plans that if we should take advantage of this opportunity and maybe just if you want me to ask you anything.
Let me think of anything. Kevin, can you think of anything? I feel like we pretty much ran it.
You ran everything. It's actually ran very smooth.
That's what I try to do.
Yeah,
that
this
I don't.
has been very, and for us, it's been very nice.
No, it's like somebody's coming to buy it. So
Well, yeah,
that's
this is
really
a
what we're trying
conversation
to-
I've had a billion times.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
I
was
usually
wondering
joke a
about
lot.
the
But,
mileage and the years, and you just mentioned that.
Yeah.
So that was something there.
What happens when it comes to tires? Anything coverage on tires or
Not
no
yet.
coverage?
Yeah, you know, and to be honest, I look at it the same way as I do towing. I've had such bad experiences in the past that I don't want it to reflect on us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the first thing that people think of when you're in a bad spot when you break down or when you need to get towed, you know, and if the tow truck takes 4 hours to get to you, and they're like, man, that warranty isn't worth the money I'm paying. And that's why we dumped the tow company at the RV and moved on. And now we have a great one. But I do find that it's going to take some time to build that relationship. And I have one that I'm talking to right now. So maybe by the time this airs, that will be available.
Nice.
We're about to pack towing into it. I don't want to spoil it, but hopefully that gets finalized in Fort Lauderdale soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I feel like it's probably the major components that are
Yeah.
the drivers don't want to be down for a long period of time. We know that sometimes the warranty companies also take a long time to approve a claim.
Yeah.
Right? They want to see this, and they want to send pictures and more pictures and more pictures. It's like, that's the part that failed. That spring failed, and that spring is not covered.
We never get pictures. You know, I mean, I will say it's very lenient unless it's a big breakdown. You know, the biggest thing, between me and you, the biggest thing that'll get a claim denied is like when because we rely so much on the technician that sometimes the technician will put crazy information in there that will get an adjudicator all revved up, and then it's like, well, that's not even what's going on. Like, what do you? They either sometimes they try to do too much, or they don't do enough. You know, if they leave off, we could do best ways to get your claim moved along and to expedite the process is communicate with the repair facility that you have the warranty. And again, that first page of the policy, it's going to detail everything you need. It literally says, guide to quick claims. And it's going to tell you everything you need to get the claim to our adjudicators and back to the facility so that we can get you paid. And we just need part numbers. It's just a list of information that some repair facilities leave off.
Got it. Okay.
It's unfortunate because it's usually the ones we want to work with the most that are. They don't have the computers and all the best shops aren't always the biggest shops. The best mechanic isn't always working at. Insert company name
I've
here.
done a recent poll with my audience. At what point is the best time to get the warranty? From your eyes, I'm sure a lot of people come to you probably to get the warranty after a major mechanical breakdown, right? And they're like, oh wow, I can't come out of pocket again for 10 or 15. I need warranty. But when do you think is the best time to get the warranty for the truck? Is that when the OEM warranty expires, or is that when somebody buys a used truck? At what point should they buy it?
I'd say with used trucks, generally you want to buy it with the warranty, at the same time. That way you can get that 30 days moving. For trucks that maybe you've owned the whole time and, the OEM warranty is coming out, I would just say plan for that 30 days so you don't miss the lapse. Or that 10,000 miles is probably going to be the thing for the OEM warranty. It's more mileage based. So just keep a look at the odometer and say, I need to get this at least 10,000 miles before this one runs out. That's the best way to avoid the lapse.
So in my case, is when I buy the trucks, I have up to 600,000 mile warranty. So at 590 is when I should get the warranty.
I'd say 590, 575.
Yeah.
Build a little bit of
right on the
flex in
cuts.
there, Yeah.
Okay.
Because if it can happen, it will happen. 1 mile.
For sure.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and again, I will stress that it's not as though we're adjudicating these claims with an algorithm or that everything's black and white.
So there's no AI.
There's no
You're
AI.
not calling in and some automated machine is picking up the phone.
One thing that we do differently is all the claims are handled here by our people. So If you speak with anyone, they work for us. And generally, they have the power to do the things that you need done to help you. So you're not going off into some black hole and a number gets spit out of the darkness, and that's just how it is. You know, we do want to work with you. We do want to help people, and you know, at the end of the day, this is a customer service business.
For sure. Some frustration that I see with owner operators is the fact that things have moved digitally too fast. Where the warranty company wants things uploaded, they want you to log into a portal, they want you to, like, that creates a lot of frustration for an owner operator that you know, needs to run miles. How do you guys take care of that?
Yeah,
Or you said a person, is that, do I just take a picture and send it to her, or how does it work?
Yeah, so literally, if you want to just give me your mileage, you just snap a photo and text it to me. And you know, I see that kind of friction in the industry all the time, you know, where people think maybe the latest and greatest technology is going to solve all their problems. But I will say the number one tool is the telephone. Our claims reps still use the phone. Some shops prefer to use email, and some of them, I mean, are actually answering text messages. So you really have three ways that you can go about filing the claim. You can do it online through the portal. If you're a portal person, you can give us a phone call, or you can do it all through email. And again, you know, whichever suits you, you can do that method, and someone's going to be manning the phone, the email, you know, or the portal at all times.
Got it. I have probably 15 or 20% of my audience is Canadian. What about them? What do you have for them? Can they buy? If
They
I'm
can
an owner,
buy.
they can, right?
They can buy.
So if I'm an owner operator in Ontario or Quebec, I can buy the warranty.
Definitely give us a call.
And then I would be insured both on the Canadian side and the U.S.
That's correct. And you know, for the Americans, if they break down in Canada, that is going to be covered as well.
Oh, so any American owner operator that runs into, and does the same thing apply for Mexico?
No, it does not.
It does not. Okay.
Not
so,
yet.
Got it. So it's Canada, U.S.
That's right.
Not ever.
I mean, I don't know. The RVs, we had people ask, and it's like, no, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I have Canadian RV customers, quite a few of them actually. We do cover Canada. Right now, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting the credit card thing to work for Canada, though.
So I'll tell you, I mean, for me, so Canadians don't have Zelle, or Canadians don't have, so I can't just send, you know, somebody in the U.S. just, you know, an email transfer like I do in Canada.
Yeah.
So we've been fighting that battle for a long time, but we just use our Canadian cards in the U.S. And
Gotcha.
so
Yeah.
are you having a hard time collecting or paying out?
Well, just getting the merchant set up. That's what I was telling Wesley. I was like, that needs to be done before this video goes, because we can legally. We have everything we need. It's usually been the case where the Canadian customer has a U.S. address of some kind.
Yeah, so a lot of the fleets, I would say the Canadian fleets have U.S. presence,
Yeah.
but for the warranties and for the, like, you kind of want your home branch associated with it,
Yeah.
right? So they should have a U.S. account and, you know, the transit numbers and everything,
Yeah.
a lot like yours. What about shops? So if I am a shop owner and I wanted to service your trucks that break down.
So we get that request a lot, and
Oh, we're gonna get
Yeah.
in the comments for sure also.
and unfortunately, I mean, to be one of our shops, you just have to have someone bring their truck to you. I mean, it is that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could get signed up to maybe refer the warranty to customers, but as far as becoming one of our affiliated shops, I mean, essentially you already are. You just need someone to come through the door.
Come to the show. Wow. Okay. So that's music to my ears. Listen, like if I could take, like I said, if I could take my truck anywhere, that's great.
Yeah,
That's,
people definitely like that. And I've always said that, you know, and we're the same way with the RVs. You know, just because you bought a warranty doesn't mean you fire your mechanic, because a good mechanic is getting even more difficult to find lately.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to go to the person who knows your truck. If you work with someone for years, yeah, you can keep your mechanic, kind of like the insurance thing. They want to go Obamacare on you, but if you like your doctor, you keep your doctor. But yeah, you can keep your mechanic.
Over your experience over the last 10 years, 8 years, how have you seen what has happened to shop rates? So I think, if I can recall back 10 years ago, I would say probably the average shop rate was maybe, between 90 to 120, I would say. Not more. Like, it would be very rare you
I
see
remember
130
sub 100.
yeah.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, you see what these shops are charging. How does that affect the warranty side of things?
Yeah, so I mean, essentially with the shop rates increasing year over year, I mean, we've had to adjust them for inflation. When I started this back in 10 years ago, the shop rate was about $125. And we would occasionally see one higher and think, oh boy, they're really getting one over. The following year, 2 years later, it goes to 150. It was 175 for a while. Now we're at 200.
Inflation didn't move that fast, by the way. 3%, 4%, 5% even, but not like that. It didn't double up over.
Yeah, it feels like it did. I don't know. I spent $55 at Zaxby's yesterday for 3 people. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the shop rates, I've definitely seen them increase, but we do have, so for some of the folks who take it to shops that they know charge more than $200, we do have an add-on that you can add for a small fee that'll take our labor rate up to $300 an hour. I typically don't recommend that to everyone because I rarely see it much more. But if you know for a fact that that's your shop and your preferred shop, is going to charge you $280, $250, then it's probably worth getting that labor rate boost.
Top up, yeah. For sure. We don't have these problems yet at our shops. We bill at like 120, 115 Canadian, which is like 90, I think, or
Really?
85. Yeah.
I mean, I saw one 280 the other day.
In Canada or in the U.S.?
In the U.S. Navistar.
Yeah, I did a video
say that
once
too
on
loud.
just calling, hey, my truck broke down. What is your shop
Yeah.
rates? And I got up to 280, 285. I was like, wow.
We specifically don't state what our shop rate is for the reason that we adjust for inflation. So if we stated it was 200 and then we had to adjust in 6 months because the market just, poof, then we're like, our contract says 200. So we specifically leave it out so we can adjust, but we'll tell you, and nobody else, no other committees or other companies out there will tell you what their shop rate is.
They usually just say posted plus. I had a guy do a job a couple years back for $95. And I said, the labor rate's $150, right? He's like, huh? I was like, the labor rate is $150, right? Like, dude, you're such a good dude. Like, you should make more money. You're too honest. Like, it's that's in Alabama. Yeah, around here, South Carolina, Alabama, you get that 175 to 200. The farther you get north and the farther you get west, it's like a valley. The rates definitely go insane. New England has got some crazy rates, and I think most of the repair facilities are just packed. They're just dealing with so many customers right now. Need more shops, I feel like. It'd be a good business to get into.
You want to take that upon yourself?
Diesel mechanic. My brother-in-law is one. Was one. Yeah, so he doesn't want to do that anymore either.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he does forklifts now. And it's really because, again, between us, like, I see a guy who has a claim and his shop isn't charging that much, and it's like he would get. I want to look after the customer, and if there were some hoses or some stuff that maybe we could pay for anyway, but this shop just isn't charging enough, like if it could make up the difference, like we could just assume they're charging the labor rate, because that's all the insurance company cares about. I care about the customer. I don't care about the insurance company. I mean, of course I should, but at the end of the day, who am I speaking with, and who did I sell the thing to?
Yeah.
I want to back the product up. And so sometimes I would just wish I could call some of these shops and say, "You about to get a claim, $200, bro." None of this 125 stuff. The guy down the street, just got another lift because he's charging $225. Like you could have another truck in here. Yeah, it's yeah.
What are you seeing for 2026, the beginning? How do you think January went? Do you think we're going to have a positive year in our industry?
Well, I'm an eternal optimist, so I always say it's going to get better. And I do think it is. I mean, I know I read something this morning that said that truck sales won't rebound in January. But, it's not really so much about truck sales. I'm not as worried about the people I'm worried about the guys who already have the trucks. I think that's where our focus needs to be. You've heard for so long that there's not enough drivers, but talk to any driver and they'll tell you there's too many drivers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
And
it's
I think we all know
it's a made-up myth. I don't know.
that there's
don't,
far too many.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not too troubled by the lack of new truck sales now.
Well, the good news is, 3 consecutive months, we've seen an increase in the national average rate per mile, which means the owner-operators are going to start coming out of the red and maybe going into the green, which means they'll be able to afford. A lot of people are also holding off on their repairs, the owner-operators. They know they're going to be down. They're like, okay, let me see if I can stretch it or take another couple of months before I do that repair. It's been tough. The last 24 months has been brutal for these guys. Not just the owner-operators, but the fleet owners just as much.
Yeah.
With the closures that we're seeing, non-stop closures, it's every day there's another company or two, and I would say normal size 100, 150, 300 trucks that are going down, and it's just been brutal for the last 24 months. But I feel like now that the rates are slowly coming up, I feel like the owner operator is going to have a little bit more, and they'll definitely invest into the.
Yeah.
It's like a second insurance.
And that's where my head is. I'm not. I see truck sales of new trucks, and well, no one wants your new truck. No one wants a new truck. Most people want a 2010. They want a 2010 with no miles on it. Kind of like me and my truck. I have a 2007, and I wouldn't trade it for a brand new one. I want the rate average to go up. I'm more worried about, like I said before, people that already have the trucks, not how much money Kenworth is going to make off new truck sales. For me personally, in a greedy way, I don't do much dealership business, but the guys who already drive are the guys that I want to benefit from the industry coming back. Not the new entrants, or not the ones that just got kicked out.
Now, is there a one-pager that we can, give the audience? So, if the audience is going to comment the word warranty, I want to automatically create this one-pager for them.
Okay.
Do you have a one-pager that we could just send the audience if they wanted to inquire about, inquire plans or packages or
I can get
for
you
an owner
something
operator?
like that.
Listen, I think also, small fleets will love your product, and
Yeah, we definitely have. We have a pretty good amount of fleets. Some small, I guess small fleets to you, yeah. Like 46 trucks, pretty small. But, I've noticed, you mentioned, this guy's bringing trucks out of the back. He's got 4 that have been sitting there that haven't been running, and when I pulled up here, he's like, I got 3 more that need to go. So you're seeing a lot of, I don't know if you've seen this, but in the States, we're seeing a lot more government contracts, a lot of infrastructure jobs. Like in Texas, all these asphalt trucks are just coming out of the woodwork.
Wow.
Number one, because all the storm damage, so they need asphalt for the roofs, but they're just paving everything, repaving a lot of the roads. If you go towards my house, everything is new and repaved. So I've seen a lot more of these government contract types getting back to work, and that goes for the granites, the Max and the rock haulers and stuff like that. So, where I sit, it does seem to be getting better.
It's great. This is really good news.
Yeah.
I think on 3 or 4 different fronts, that it looks a lot better than 2025.
Because I feel bad for a lot of these guys, I talk to people who started a business and shut it in 6 months. And if you think about the COVID, everybody was going to be a truck driver and be a millionaire. Yeah.
Listen, I think in COVID, the trucking companies, I think in 1 quarter, we made more than any 2 years combined of history of our company in 1 quarter.
Yeah.
In 1 quarter, so if you take any year, any 2 years and combine it, We did more in one quarter than we did in any 2 years of our history, which is just.
And then everyone bought trucks and said, "I'm going to do that."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
That
you know
was
who
just-
made the most money during that time is whatever government agency you had to file to get an LLC with. Like $250 a pop. The CDL schools and the magistrate
Everybody,
court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was making money.
Yeah.
But listen, the government was handing out the money and
Yeah. I mean,
people were spending.
yeah, they were definitely spending.
But things look pretty good. I mean, in the U.S. right now, I think that.
Oh yeah, I think they do. I mean, like I said, I'm always kind of like, oh, it's fine. It's getting better, but I do see it getting better, and I think that a lot of the drivers I've spoken with, at the end of last year, they were like, yeah, I think it's going to change. I hope things are getting better. And the start of this year so far, people have been calling. Business has picked up a lot, and I think they're finally getting paid what it's worth to drive.
Yeah, yeah. So with all the closures and everything that we're seeing, both in Canada and the U.S., definitely there's a spike in rates, and we are going to probably see over the next 3 months, even a further spike in rates, which is
because you get all the low rate, the people that would accept low rates.
Well, listen. Sometimes you don't have a choice. It's are they going to stand?
Yeah.
You can't stand, right?
Yeah.
You can't just have your units parked. Your drivers will leave. Equipment is not good when it's standing. So you end up. I had multiple contracts renew, and I had to match rates, or else I would lose the contract. So thank God I had, the customers at least that came up to me and said, hey, there's 3 carriers out there that are willing to do it for this price. Yeah, you've been with us for the last 5-7 years. This is your opportunity. Either you match, or we as a business have to give away a contract. And I was like, I can't do these rates. I mean, I have infrastructure, I have yards, I have, but it's either that or, so it's been really tough, all across.
On a side note, did you find the guy who stole the trailer?
The guy that stole the trailer, no, but we found the truck and the trailer. It was, it was left in our yard, which was great. I got a lot of heat about hiring foreigners to do virtual security.
I'm sure.
But
wasn't it in like Kazakhstan or something? Where was it?
It was in Kyrgyzstan.
In
Kyrgyzstan, and it was great because their night is our day, so it makes sense. I mean, to get somebody in the U.S. or even in Canada, you're talking about $25-30 an hour. Over the course of 8-9 hours, and over there, it's annually a $50,000-60,000 bill, or $12,000 to $14,000 bill, and then you need 3 shifts also, right? 8, and 8. So that's now 6 times 3, $180,000 versus $40,000. So as a company, it was a no-brainer. We got a lot of heat from the audience about recruiting foreigners.
But
And now, especially with what's happening all over the U.S. with the non-domicile licenses, and I think there was a big accident a couple of days ago that's really climbing up the channels all over the place. And listen, the U.S. definitely needs to clean up house with what's happening here.
Yeah.
And you have probably the best person to. In my eyes, I think we're going to cut that out because fucking.
Yeah, so I assume we have to cut that out.
It's crazy. I can't say shit on the channels anymore.
Yeah.
No, so I'll tell you also sometimes it gets suppressed by YouTube. If I ever say anything, it's not so much as the comments as YouTube itself will suppress it.
Will suppress.
Yeah, so they won't let it out. They're like, just.
Wow.
Well, those non-domiciled CDLs too. I mean, that's where that rate increase is going to come from.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a lot. Yeah, there's a whole lot. And it sucks because there's a lot of people here that are doing it the right way and trying to.
Yeah, listen, my parents came as immigrants also, into the country. And sometimes I feel bad for the people because they just, use the system that, this was the system. We were allowed to do this. And now all of a sudden it's, from today to tomorrow, no, it's not good. But you guys created the system, right? Like it's. So you can see it from both sides of the story, and yes, you want to clean it up. Yes, you want moving forward, not to follow those same rules, and you can't just fucking let anybody into your country.
You can't let them drive a truck.
100%.
I mean,
listen,
dude.
Why is it that every other industry, you look at a mechanic, you look at an electrician, you look at a plumber, you look at anybody. I mean, over the last 25 years, it's become harder and harder to become a plumber. It's become
Yeah.
harder and harder to become an electrician. I need, in Canada, I don't know about you, I need 4,000 hours to become a plumber.
Oh, yeah.
I need 1,000 hours to become an electrician. Why do the same rules not apply in trucking? Why has it become easier and easier and easier and easier, and the value of a truck driver has just gone down and down and down and down over the course of the same, 20 years? And for me, that's disturbing that our industry, and the reason why our rates are the way that they are, because everybody can just become a truck driver within, we have programs, 5-week program.
Yeah.
Right?
See, that's scary.
It is scary because we're all on the same road. My wife and kids are on the same roads as.
On the same road, and I lost one of my mentors almost a year ago to the date up and going into Chattanooga. A big truck driver. He'd only been driving for like a year. Took him out and 2 other cars, and there were 7 people died.
This is it. You're in truck driver spaghetti junction right here. This is like, whenever I talk to people on the phone, like, where I am. We're right where 75 and 85 meet. Like, this is hell for trucks. I can't stand driving out here.
So for us up north, we even have the weather. Like, can you imagine?
Oh, gosh.
Somebody new that's coming into the industry. We had one, crazy accident with the Bronco, with the bus, I think it was the hockey players. They were all, 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Heard that, yes.
Yeah, and it was just a foreigner that just came through some, to Canada, got his license. I think he ran a stop sign or didn't see the stop sign, smashed into the bus, and then you had, a ton of fatalities.
Yeah.
And, the system brought him in. The system was the one that, allowed this trucking company to get the ability to bring foreigners here under the trucking program. And it's just, a nightmare for what happened. And these things are starting to pop up, or at least now with social media, it comes out to life a lot faster.
A lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sad, these stories. And
17,000, what was it, California found? 17,000
the non-domicile or the illegal
drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get into that non-domiciled and just genuinely fake CDLs, it's probably.
So I looked into the rules. Can somebody come as a visitor to the U.S. and become a truck driver? So, and I believe the answer is yes. Right? Without legal status, you can get a truck license, or at least you used to be able to, be able to get a truck license. Right, so people come here, they work for 6 months, they work under a corporation, no taxes, tax evasion, and I know in Canada that's happening a lot through the.
I don't think it's happening here at all.
Another loophole
that's a right-wing talking point, Yeah.
In Canada, what else have they found? They found that through the student visas is where a lot of the fraud happens.
Student visas.
Yeah, so somebody would come into the U.S. or in Canada, they would basically get some, fake-ass certificate with, a 2-year program. They'd have the ability to study here in the U.S. and in Canada while they have their visa, the student visa, then they can get a truck license. And then somehow they end up staying through this truck license. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, the system let them do it, and it's unfortunate, but it hurts a lot of people. Yeah, including the person that got wrapped up in it. But
well, listen, you guys are pioneers right now. I think that Canada is definitely looking at the sidelines, and everybody's like, "Oh, we need the same thing going on over here. Somebody has to come in and clean up house."
And you'd be like I was relatively green to this. I have a bunch of truck drivers in my family, but they're kind of that old generation of truck drivers, Not like the new generation of truck drivers so much. But, yeah, you look at the comments on these trucking videos, and, it's pretty, they understand that that's what's happened to their industry, And these are people that, they're not like hateful people, and they talk to me about this every day. We're getting to this same conversation will come up with at least one person. Yeah, they'll just bring it up, and I'm commiserate with it. So I'm like, I understand, man. I think it is getting better. I told them last year it would get better. It started to get better, just because I did see that the regulation, deregulating the trucks as far as like the emissions controls.
Oh, come on.
That's why I
messed up.
meant when I said everyone wants a 2010. Everyone wants something emissions exempt. Yeah.
But if you can go back to, taking away all these emissions controls,
Yeah.
I think
That would
fuel,
be huge.
yeah, I think fuel consumption would probably, spike for sure.
Yeah.
So less emissions out there because the fuel consumption would be better. So
And you wonder if the big companies, I mean, like Volvo is probably not going to be making trucks. I mean, they'll just make electric only, like the way they did with cars. I'm curious to see, like, in the next 10 years, how a company like Kenworth or Freightliner, how they modify things. Because I don't think the emission standards are going away, but if it changes, they're going to come right back. If you're not safe, to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say if you had like a $3,000 repair on the dev system right now, you're probably better off just deleting it. But I'm interested to see how the trucking companies change because they are global brands. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing.
yeah,
Is like if you had one that was just diehard American brand, then they could do whatever they wanted and wouldn't have to kowtow to like some of the European regulations and all this stuff. But time will tell. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're really looking forward for the Tesla Semi, but I think my humble opinion, I have a feeling that the hybrid would be
hybrids, yeah.
the way to go long term.
I agree.
That's some electrical component, but it has to have some sort of small engine
Yeah.
where they feed off each
Well, I
other.
mean, will it start in Canada?
Listen, I'm driving right now at home a hybrid pickup truck,
Yeah.
and that thing gives me 600 miles, 1,000 kilometers from, with one fill up, which is pretty awesome.
That's-
The
wow.
torque on it is insane. I
Yeah.
mean, that thing can fly,
I'm probably half a tank just to get home.
But I have to say, your fuel prices here are extremely cheap.
What is it in Canada now?
If you convert it, probably it's about $5.25 a gallon.
Ouch.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, I fill up Canadian $140 for my car, and here I fill up $65 US, which is probably like $90.
Yeah.
$90 Canadian. No, less even. It's probably around like $85 Canadian, and I fill up $140
When you're there.
when I'm there. Yeah. So it's we get taxed. I mean, Canada's like a second California.
Yeah, if you get outside of this bubble too, the gas is even cheaper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it goes down.
Nice.
Yeah, this is kind of like the hoity-toity zone. Yeah.
Yeah.